Good day, everyone, and welcome to another social media live event. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and it's a time where the Children's Board, along with our community partners, remind everyone that every child deserves a happy and healthy childhood. My name is Dexter Lewis, Director of Public Relations with the Children's Board, and I'm pleased to welcome Mello, who is the president for the Bay Bridges chapter, the local chapter of Bikers Against Child Abuse. Also known as BACA in the community. I just want to remind all of our listeners today that we all have an obligation to support children and families that experience or have survived trauma in their lives. And the message for April is that prevention programs and services can keep families whole and reduce the number of children who suffer abuse and neglect. And there's a lot of community supports to support families and parents right here in Hillsborough County, and we'll share some additional information towards the end of this. But for people who are not familiar, Mello, with Bikers Against Child Abuse, tell us about your organization.
All right, well, Bikers Against Child Abuse, or BACA, is an international nonprofit organization of bikers. We're in about 20 countries. We cover 46 of the US states. And here in Florida, we've got about 10 chapters. We've got a very narrow focused mission. That is to empower abused children not to live in fear. Abused kids have multiple adverse childhood experiences. Some of the things we work on is to increase the number of positive childhood experiences they have and build the resiliency within these kids.
Wow. Well, building resiliency with having a trusted adult friend like BACA, like yourself, is so important for kids that have experienced ACEs or adverse childhood experiences. So tell us, you kind of already shared it, but tell us why your organization is so important for children and families.
Well, abused kids tend to be very isolated in there because the abusers make wild threats. And by having us be involved with them, working directly with these kids, we help empower them so that they're not afraid and to start using their voice to speak up for themselves.
That's right. Yeah, yes, and encouraging kids to, if they see something or experience something that they know isn't quite right, to also speak up for themselves. And so if a child is experiencing, unfortunately, something that's not good for them or safe for them, how do people get in touch with you? And what's the age group of children that you work with?
We typically work with children from about the age of 4 to 18. Getting a hold of us, there's a couple different avenues. To start off with, our international website is bacaworld.org. For Florida, you go to florida.bacaworld.org. You'll see all of the chapters we have here. For getting a hold of the Bay Bridges chapter, you can email us at info@bb-fl.bacaworld.org, or you can call us at 888-611-2275.
Thank you, Mello. We'll put all that information on how to get in contact with you all in the thread next to this social media event. And then, how do you, you don't meet someone that's a part of an organization like yours every day. So I'm curious as how did you get involved with the organization? What motivated you to get involved?
When my daughter was really young, she had multiple different types of therapists. And one of them actually had our information flyer posted on her bulletin board. Having been a biker for a long time, but never joining an organization, it caught my interest. So I did some research on them, then went out and hung out with them for a little bit. I then went through the background check process that's required to join the organization and eventually joined Bikers Against Child Abuse. I joined them while I was in Colorado.
Okay. How many years would you say, if you don't mind sharing, how many years have you been a member of BACA?
It's been at least 10.
10. Wow. So how do children feel knowing that BACA is on their side? Can you share just a brief anecdote about what happens when children see you with your motorcycle or in your gear coming up to support them?
Yeah, I think the best thing is when their child's in court, a lot of times the judges will ask them, are you afraid to testify? And a lot of the kids that we work with, they will say no, because my friends, meaning Bikers Against Child Abuse, are bigger, meaner, and scarier than their abuser.
Wow. Wow. That means a lot. I'm sure you all really do feel how important that is for a child that feels helpless and in a situation where they have been abused. Wow. And please feel free to share anything else that I may have missed in my questions. Is there anything else that you'd like for our audience to know about BACA and the impact that you all have in the community in supporting children?
One of the things with April being Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month, we typically are dealing with kids that have already been abused. But from a prevention perspective, by working with a child here and giving them some more resiliency and empowering them not to live in fear, we're all about breaking the cycle of abuse. And kids that have gone through our program are much less likely to be abusers in the future.
Ending that cycle of abuse in families, or playing our part, or playing your part as a member of BACA, that's important, and important work, very important work. So thank you and BACA for all that you do in the community to make children feel safer and secure and supported. And so thank you guys for tuning in to another Social Media Live. Before we end, can we end on a lighter note? You're a biker, so I have to know, what kind of motorcycle do you have?
Yeah, that's always a fun question. My current motorcycle is a 2020 Indian Roadmaster. It's matte red. I think it's a gorgeous bike, and it's a lot of fun to ride.
Nice. So you've got the blue hair for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Blue, the pinwheels is the national symbol for child abuse, and you've got the blue hair, and then you've got the red bike. So people can see you coming from miles away. So that's pretty cool. I just want to remind everybody that's listening, as Mello mentioned, we all can be a helping hand to support ending abuse and neglect in our community. And some of the tangible ways in which we can do that are by volunteering, by being a mentor. We all can play a role, and we're all mandatory reporters in the state of Florida. So if you see something, please say something and encourage your children and the children that you have around you, that they can speak up if something is happening to them that makes them feel uncomfortable. So thanks for tuning in again, and we will see you next time for our next Social Media Live event. Thank you. Thanks, Mello.